Hello, I'm filming this on the computer and I'm not used to it, so we'll see how this goes basically. Um, just touch my hair. So basically, I want to talk about a load of films that I've watched lately and I need to make dinner. So this is what we're going to do. Right, so today I'm making chicken and bean enchiladas and I'm going to do a salad with that, and I need to do my lunch for tomorrow as well. But I also wanted to do cookies, but I feel really fatigued today, so I'm like, am I going to be pushing it too much if I do cookies as well? So I'm going to start with like the salad and just chopping up like everything I need, because I kind of feel like that will work better for me. And I'm just going to talk about films at the same time, I think. Um, this is not original, obviously. This is inspired by Cindy, who does cook and book, and I really enjoy her videos and I wanted to go. So thank you for the inspiration, Cindy. I'm just going to start the salad, I think. I have this, the rest of this, which is still fine. So I'm going to use that because otherwise it's not going to get used. My dad was saying he was going to use it and I knew he wasn't. So, oh, actually that might be enough. That might be enough. That's like a lot of lettuce, and I might just finish this little bit. You just left all this lettuce just in this bag. Okay, so my degree is actually in film studies. I did 3 years, and film studies, if you don't know, is like the analytical version of not film. It's kind of like English literature, but for films. I should put all this in a bowl actually. Yeah, kind of like English literature and films. So as much as people think all you're doing is watching films, I know when I did it, I did a lot of sociology, a lot of history, God, filmmaking techniques, analysis, all sorts. And I really enjoyed it and I miss it a lot. I really wish I could go back and do my degree again, because even though I had a load of issues with my degree, I really enjoyed the actual degree. And so I thought, I've been doing lots of book stuff lately and reading a lot of books, and I hardly watched any films this year. So I was like, I'm going to get back on it and watch a load of films. And so yesterday I did. I watched 4 films because the Oscar nominations are out, and I had opinions, but I haven't seen enough of the Oscar nominated films to have quite strong opinions. I still haven't watched Oppenheimer, but yesterday I watched 4 Oscar nominated films. That's way too much lettuce. 4 Oscar nominated films, and I just want to talk about them honestly, because why not? I've got thoughts. So the first film that I watched was Poor Things. I saw this is still in the cinema in the UK. I don't know whether it is anywhere else. And so it's I don't know. So it's the film by Yorgos Lanthimos. I hope I said that right, but I don't think I did. And it's about, it's Emma Stone as a character named Bella Baxter, who is a young woman who has been reanimated and she's learning to go through life. There's going to be spoilers in this movie, isn't it? So basically, she's got the brain of an unborn child in her head, and it's looking at it. So it talks a lot about disability and perception, and it's an incredibly good film. It's up for 11 Oscars, and I honestly think it deserves every one of those nominations. I don't know if I like it, I'm going to say. I really don't know if I liked the film. I think it's fantastic, but I came out of it and was like, what the fuck did I just watch? That being said, it is a phenomenal film. It's so different to everything else that I've watched lately. I feel like a lot of his films are like that. There was a lot of like uproar when The Favourite came out. I was working in cinemas when that came out and people hated it, and now people love it. And I feel like we're going to have the same trajectory with Poor Things. What I really liked about this film, I've just thrown spring onion everywhere. There was so much that I really loved about this film. I loved all the cinematography. It was so different to like everything else at the minute. And it physically looked a lot different as well, which I really liked. It really stood out compared to all the other films. It's visually very different. It's visually it's all very intricate and very detailed. And what I loved about it is like you have places in it such as Lisbon. Lisbon's like quite a big part of it. And I've been to Lisbon. I went to Lisbon years ago. And even though it's like a fantastical Lisbon, it's still very obviously Lisbon. But it's done in such a way that it's just overly fantastical and fitting in with the universe, but still recognisable to you if you were watching it. The entire aesthetic was fantastic. I loved her costuming, hair and makeup. Emma Stone was a revelation in this, honestly. She just... I can't even necessarily explain. Her character development was so pronounced, but also subtle at the same time. Like at the beginning, she's very childlike. She's very like learning to use her body, and the way she progresses, you don't even necessarily notice her development, because it's so subtle but so still there. So when you think back at the end of the film to what she was like at the beginning, you see such a character change, but her actual like character doesn't change throughout the entire thing. She's still Bella Baxter the entire time. It's not like one of those narrative shifts where everything about that character has changed, which I really liked. I'm going to put a bit of carrot in this. I'm not going to do loads of carrot in the salad because my parents don't like it necessarily. But I have to go to work tomorrow, so I have to make lunch, and I will do carrot sticks anyway, so I think I'm just going to have 2 birds, 1 stone. I mean, if I'm honest, I felt like it was slightly overlong. I felt like it was coming to like a natural sort of end, and then it didn't. It went on for another half an hour. I felt like the Alfie arc, I don't remember his actual surname, but I felt like that almost didn't need to be there, and it went a way I didn't expect. I fully expected it to be like they transplanted Willem Dafoe's brain into his body so he could keep living. That seemed the logical place for me, but I quite liked that wasn't what happened. Although I would say it did feel slightly overlong to me. Also, I mean, I know that this has got 11 Oscars and it's up for Best Supporting Actor with Mark Ruffalo. I honestly felt like he was the worst part of the film. His character is so irritating and so whingy and annoying for most of it. And every time he came up, I was like, oh, for God's sake, you again? I just felt like he was an important character who needed to be there but didn't need to be there as much as he was. And to be honest, I don't even think he did the best supporting performance. I would have given it to Willem Dafoe or... No, probably him actually. Because I think his performance was so much more nuanced than Ruffalo's, but what do I know? I'm just a person cutting up a carrot. Oh, and I am going to talk very briefly about the sex scenes. Personally, I'm not a great lover of sex scenes in movies. I feel like, I'm not going to say that they don't deserve to be there, because obviously a lot of times they need to be there. Personally, I just feel uncomfortable with them. I think it's to do with the fact that I'm ace. Personally, I felt like some of these sex scenes were a bit male gazy. I'm incredibly jealous of Emma Stone that she feels confident enough in her own body to be able to do those. I was incredibly I was watching her, I was like, wow, she's incredible. But I felt like a few of them at the beginning felt very male gazy, and I didn't like it. Obviously, the further on it gets into the film, that doesn't really apply. I feel like that works better within the context of the film. But at the beginning bit and in the Lisbon bit, I was like, I get it now. I get it. Can we move on? I feel like I'm just rambling and my thoughts aren't making much sense. Okay. But overall, I loved Poor Things. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know if I like it, but I loved the experience of watching it. I'm very glad I got to see it myself. I do like it the more I think about it. but initially I was just like, I'm not sure. I don't know whether it's one I would rewatch over and over and over. I would probably rewatch at some point. I'm not sure if I'd rewatch over and over and over. Next film that I watched was Anatomy of a Fall. I've been meaning to watch this for months. I only just got round to it. Don't have a go. That is directed by Justine Triet. It's up for 5 Oscars, including Best Picture? Yeah, Best Picture and Best Director. I have thoughts about the Oscar nominations, but I'm going to do another video about it. So I work in it's a chain cinema, but it's pretty much an art house cinema. And this film did very well for us. But a lot of people complained to me that it wasn't women-centred. And they then felt that the awards that Justine Triet won, everything lauded her for being a female director, but the film wasn't women-centred. And I was like, I've not seen it, so I'm going to pass judgment, but also why does that matter if she's a female director but not, a male director wouldn't be like criticised for not centering men in this film, but I have to say, I watched it and I was like, if you don't think this is a woman-centred film, I really don't know what to tell you, because you're not watching the same film as I am. Salad's done. That took me probably longer than it should have done because I was chatting. I'm going to get everything ready for the enchiladas and then carry on. I think I had the most to talk about the whole thing, so hopefully I won't ramble too much. To me, Anatomy of a Fall seemed incredibly women-centred. The whole plot revolves around this woman who is in the same industry as her partner and who is more successful than her partner. A partner who takes on what he considers to be more of a feminine role in caring for their child. And it's to do with the aftermath of his feelings regarding that, and like the events and how that affects the family afterwards, including her. It's entirely female centred. Like, I'm sorry, I don't get how you can say it's not. Sandra Huller was incredible in this. I loved the fact that it was so ambiguous. I could watch her performance and take it either way. I know now that she was told to behave as if she was innocent. I was like, you can watch this multiple times and get a different ending from it, which I love. I love films like that. It was such a masterclass in tension as well. Like, the entire time I was glued to the screen. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen next. And it was fantastic. There is a scene, if you haven't watched it and you're going to watch it, I don't know why you're watching this spoilerific video. The bit that I really hated was the poisoning of the dog, and I wish I knew about that going in, because it was quite distressing. And I'm going to say it looked a little bit too real, didn't it? But I'm sure it wasn't. It just looked very, very real, which kind of threw me off a bit as well. But, I mean, never mind. I really feel like Justine Triet deserves the Best Director award for the Oscars. I don't think she's going to get it, but I think she deserves it because Anatomy of a Fall was just so good. So incredibly good. Okay, next up is Killers of the Flower Moon. I thought I had loads to say about different films, and I obviously don't, so I have one mixed chilli left because I made salt and pepper chips, and you need chilli for those. But I have nothing to use it for now, so I think I'm just going to use it for this. I don't know whether to seed it or not though, because my family aren't very good with spice. The Scorsese film about the Osage Nation murders, and I have messed that up really badly. And it's up for 10 Oscars. Now, I'm going to be honest, I would not say it was the best directed film, I've thrown pepper seeds everywhere, on the list. I feel like the Oscars between him and Nolan though, isn't it? Let's be fair. And honestly, I haven't seen Oppenheimer, so I can't really make a judgment call. But that being said, I don't think Scorsese deserves it. I think if Scorsese wins it, it will be a matter of legacy. Not that he's not a fantastic director, because obviously he is. But that's just my opinion. I feel like there were better directed films up for contention. And I'm still furious about Celine Song not getting a directing nomination. But you know what? We move on. I don't know if it's because this should be watched on a big screen, but I struggled with this a lot more than a lot of people seem to. I really didn't buy a lot of the love story, and I don't know if that's just because I kind of knew what was coming, but I didn't really buy a lot of it. I was like, I don't understand how she's falling for this, but you know, I have the power of hindsight, do I not? She does not. And although I struggled with a lot of it, I did think it was very well made. It did make me wonder really if Scorsese was the right person to direct this. I know that he brought on quite a lot of Native Americans as producers and stuff like this. Are you okay? Yes, it's a shadow. But I also was kind of like, should Scorsese really be making this as a white man? But then I read somewhere that J.J. Abrams wanted to direct it, and I'm like, thank God Scorsese got it out of the two of those, really, because J.J. Abrams I don't feel like would be as respectful. It felt like Scorsese understood the weight behind what he was making, even if it was a bit like white-centred. I definitely felt like the Osage parts were the best parts, exploring the culture and everything, and I really liked how when Lizzie, Molly's mother, dies, it's very focused around her heritage, and she has the ancestors take her away. I did like that. I thought that was a good part. But that being said, I was kind of like, this is very good. It's very white-centred. I know that they did redo it to make it less white-centred, but I was like, everything, it's not about them, is it? It's about them, but it's not made with them. I don't know. 3.5 hours I definitely thought was too long. I know a lot of people were like, you don't feel it. I have mobility issues, and I struggled watching it at home. 3.5 hours, and I could get up and walk. I can't sit down for that long. We had a lot of people in our cinema we catered towards, mainly elder people who physically couldn't sit through it because it was too long. And I do feel like, having watched it, there was no reason why an intermission couldn't have been put in. And I felt like when people were like, oh, well, you know, we can't have an intermission, I was like, you have to think of other people. Like, people will not go and see your film if it's inaccessible for them, which it's quite an inaccessible film. It's very long. Like, it took me 4 hours to get through it. Like, that's a very long time, you know? Like, I can completely understand why people couldn't watch it in the cinema. I definitely wouldn't have been able to sit through 3.5 hours without being in quite extreme pain. And I feel like asking people to do that without even entertaining the option of an intermission is a little bit unfair. But that's me. So I do agree that Leonardo DiCaprio did not necessarily deserve an acting nomination for this. But I've still got another half of the onion. I don't know what I'm doing. I thought he was good. It's nowhere near his best. But Lily Gladstone absolutely deserves that acting nomination. She was incredible. I can't wait to see more of her in things. I didn't know her before this, so I'm definitely going to look her up. And the onion's getting me. And watch more films that she's in, because she was fantastic. And honestly, I just wanted to see more of her in it. But I hope she gets it. For me, it's between her and Emma Stone. But I would be pleased with either of them, which makes me feel like neither of them are going to get it. There are quite a few films on here, the Oscar list, that I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to watch Maestro. I've heard nothing but bad things about it. And I'm not going to watch... I am going to watch The Holdovers. I might watch American Fiction. And I'm probably going to watch Oppenheimer, but I'm not entirely certain about that. Cool. Got enchilada sauce there. and that is my chicken and veg and bean enchilada mix. Okay, so I paused that while I was cooking because it was quite loud, but I'm going to make up my enchiladas now, and then I'm going to leave them for later because I find that when they're cold, when you've made them and you've let them sit, the flavour's better, so that's what I'm going to do. So the next film that I watched was Society of the Snow, which is a Netflix film. I've got the enchilada sauce here. It always looks awful, but it tastes really good. So it's a Netflix film, and it's about the Uruguayan plane crash in the Andes. The Uruguayan rugby team. I absolutely love this. So I heard about it before the Oscar nominations because my friends were watching it, and they were like, "You've got to watch this. You're going to love it." Yeah, I thought it was fantastic, and I'm surprised it's only up for 2. It's up for best international film for Spain and best makeup and hairstyling. Now, if it were up to me, I would have put it up for best sound and best effects as well. And because I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I was genuinely quite scared at the plane crash, which sounds silly because I did know how it was going to end, but I thought it was fantastic. It's a J.A. Bayona film, and I love his work. I've loved his work since The Orphanage. I think he's such a fantastic director. And so when I found out he did it, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. The way the dead are portrayed in this film, I think, is very respectful. And he does have this habit of being very respectful towards the dead in his films. Yeah, it was. Oh my god, it was so good. It was very captivating, emotionally devastating. Yeah, I really hope more people see it. Honestly, I think if it was an American film, it would have had more of a boost by now, honestly. Because people a lot of the time see international films and they're like, oh, I'm not so sure, I'm not going to understand the language. International films are never as good, and I don't know where people get this idea that international films are not as good, because that's a very closed-minded view, I find. So the narrator, as I've said, it's spoilers in this one anyway. The narrator ends up being one of the people who dies in the plane crash. I also really liked that as well, because I felt like it really emphasised how important everyone on that plane crash was. It wasn't just that they were there and then they died and then they had to be eaten so the others could survive. It was very much given like they were all important, everyone was important. It was also quite respectful, I thought, because it was telling somebody's story now that they can't. I've just dropped a load of peppers and beans. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic, and I really hope it gets into best international film. I haven't seen any of the others, so I haven't seen any of the other nominees for best international film. So I'm really hoping this one gets it, because it's so good. It's fantastic. It's so well done. And I was so glad that I did watch it, because I was thinking of watching something else instead of it, but I'm really glad that I didn't miss it, because it's just so well done, so captivating, so respectful as well. After that, I watched The Creator. I honestly don't really have much to say about The Creator. I enjoyed it. Obviously, it's quite a topical topic, because it's about AI and the destruction of society. I have a lot of thoughts about AI, but I'm not going to get into them now because I'm talking about films, and I've messed up my enchilada. But yeah, I thought it was very, very enjoyable, very topical. I really liked John David Washington's performance. I've really messed this enchilada up. Yeah, I thought he was fantastic, but I thought he's fantastic for years. I don't understand why he's not had such... Oh my god. I don't understand why he hasn't had a bigger career, to be honest with you. Have I got that down myself? because honestly, he's one of those people who I think is quite an underrated actor. I've completely messed up my last enchilada, and I need to try and fix it. Oh god! I have one more to fit in this pan, and I know I can do it. If I hadn't screwed that last one up, I think I'm going to screw this one up as well. Yeah, so it was good. I enjoyed it. It was very tense. It is a popcorn movie. I've just got to deal with the chicken before. The cat was trying to get in, and there was spicy chicken on the floor, and it was gonna kill her. I was like, I can't let you eat that. So yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a popcorn movie, but there's nothing wrong with that. It did surprise me it got an Oscar nomination. I thought the effects were good. I thought the sound was good. Would I be like, it's the best visual effects, it's the best sound? No, not really. But it was very enjoyable. That's all really I can say about it. It's quite predictable, but it's enjoyable. So the last film I watched was Nimona, and I've been meaning to watch Nimona for forever, and I haven't done it, and I was so annoyed at myself. So enchiladas are done. There's a lot of sauce on top. I don't know why I did that. It's gonna be spicy. And I loved Nimona. I'm so annoyed that I haven't watched it before now. It's beautiful. The animation is incredible. I loved all the diversity shown within it. Not just people of colour, but there's disability representation, there's LGBTQ plus representation, and it's all just like, it's not made like a big thing of, so hopefully a certain subsection of society will not get too upset. Even up to like different character types, every character's body type is animated differently, which I really liked. Riz Ahmed was fantastic. He's a very underrated actor, I think. I'm really glad that he got this role because he's fantastic in it. He's fantastic. I love the fact that Nimona is a very charismatic, and I love the fact it talks about big things such as corruption, brainwashing, and the idea of rebelling against a corrupt overseer to try and to do what's right, stand up for the right thing. I loved all of that. And it's incredibly watchable, and I'm going to end up rewatching it again and again, I can tell. So I'm really glad I eventually got into it. So those are the films that I've caught up with since, and I've made some enchiladas. Thank you for being with me. You can't even tell that I've messed it up. I will when I try and take them out later, but yeah, I really enjoyed that. I'm going to do another one of these, talking about the Oscar nominations, what I think of them. I just need to watch Oppenheimer before I do it, and then I will fully get into my thoughts. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you did, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.